All right, it's 11 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Becky, you want to do roll call, please?
I sure will. Bob Olson.
Here.
Tom Kitson.
Present.
Jack Skrockstead.
Here.
Mike Copine.
Here.
Mike Zeman.
Here.
Jim Sheeline.
Here.
Tom Wilson.
Here.
Nancy Naylor.
Present.
Dean Friel.
Here.
All right, go to the public attendees. Nancy, you got anything you want to share with us? Keen? Alice?
Yeah, I just was going to talk about my trip down to Dallas last month. Last month, I attended PowerGen International 2025 in Dallas, Texas. PowerGen brings together over 8,000 industry professionals, including power utilities, hardware vendors, and equipment manufacturers. The event focused on the evolving landscape of energy generation, demand growth, grid resilience, and innovative technologies shaping the future of our power sector. Some of the key highlights from the conference was resurgence of traditional power sources. Discussions highlighted a renewed interest in natural gas and nuclear energy. Keynote speakers, including representatives from NVIDIA, a major data center developer, and Energy, emphasized the growing demand for firm generation capacity to supporting expanding AI-driven energy needs. Advancement in hydrogen and energy storage. Innovations aimed at decarbonization and long-duration energy storage were showcased. Notably, Westinghouse presented a compelling energy storage solution, while Modern Hydrogen introduced a methane to hydrogen conversion process using pyrolysis. This technology allows methane to be transported efficiently before converting it to hydrogen at the point of use, with the remaining carbon repurposed for asphalt production. The impact of artificial intelligence on energy demand. NVIDIA's keynote addressed the surge in energy consumption driven by artificial intelligent workloads, underscoring the need for reliable power sources to support this growth. And lastly, the emergence of grid edge technologies. The event featured discussions on behind-the-meter solutions, microgrids, and portable energy storage, highlighting the importance of data-driven decision-making in modern energy management.
When you were there, you touched on it. How far away are we from the modular nuclear?
So they specifically said we are about 8 to 10 years out for those small nuclear. Also, Illinois is currently under moratorium for new nuclear. So Illinois needs to overcome that hurdle before we can even consider the possibility. But we are in a position where we have time. So if this is something we would like to see in our future, we have the time to plan accordingly, get our comprehensive plan up to date so that we can provide for that when the time comes.
I think they got a moratorium till 2026, correct? Is that
I
what
believe
it's?
so.
Switching gears, so I just read an article about they had AI management of the grid now. Did they talk anything about that?
Yes.
That seems to be.
Everything is going to be AI. Like we're pretty much all going to be forced out of our jobs because of AI is what they're basically telling us.
That's good in a way, but it's scary in another way. If we got an issue or whatever, we need to get it back to manual reset or something in case something happens.
Yes, with the AI, it also increases the chances of cybersecurity attacks, things of that nature. So
What's your thoughts on the conference? Is it worth going to?
I get a lot out of them. I really do. The chance to network, to get the information straight from the horse's mouth. They're there to present to other members of the industry. So I'm hearing what the industry is hearing.
All right. Anybody got any questions or comments for her? Yes, Tom.
Alice, is there any conversation at all about PJM and that whole gridlock we've got?
So PJM's kind of not really being discussed like it was last year because it is coming out of its logjam. We are finding out from companies such as Stewart Creek locally, South Dixon Solar, that they are progressing through the PJM system, and they are nearing phase 3. Both of those projects are entering into the phase 3 of their program. So that is the final step before they are given interconnection.
But also, I think PJM changed how their structure was. Do you want to allude to that? I mean, are you familiar? In other words, the queue, it's no longer the queue. They can move around, companies can move around better in the queue.
Yeah, it used to be set up so it was first come, first serve. Now it's first ready, first serve. So the companies that are coming to them with all of their land use and anything else that they'll need, they're the ones getting the priority.
Okay, thank you.
More questions or comments? Thanks, Alice. Anything you want to share? Nope. How'd you come up with on your tornado, automated tornado, so you don't have to? Yes.
I reported on Tuesday to the Public Safety Committee meeting, and I spoke with Kurt, who is the person who had put in the boxes for Amboy, and he gave us a bunch more information. There's a possibility that we may need to actually even replace the horn.
Okay.
It may be out of date. It may not be compatible with the box that he may need to be put in. So we spoke with Chief Dickinson from the fire department, and he and Mike and I and Kurt will be getting an appointment in May, after May 1st. And we were going to meet and we're going to take a look at everything over there in Harmon and get an idea of what's going to need to be done. We're going to get a good visual on everything and see. We got a name of a company over in the suburbs in case we do need a new siren. And then we're going to work on seeing about more financial stuff and who's actually going to be totally working on finances. We've all got to kind of come together on that too, because nobody really knows who's responsible, and we just don't want anybody hurt. And if something were to happen, we've got storms coming up tomorrow that can be very, very severe. In fact, they just raised that another level this morning. So.
Not like you want to crawl up a ladder and open a thing.
Well, and Dwayne Dickinson said he doesn't have warm fuzzies about coming out and pushing a button either underneath the water tower. So, yeah, and I don't either, honestly. And the one person that does have the key right now is we might have some issues on even getting him to even be able to get out there if there was a situation to arise. So we're going to have to work on finding a way to get a key from him. And we have a meeting this evening. Our board meeting is tonight at 7, if there's anybody that would like to come as well, for Harmon. So we're going to work on getting the key possibly from him to figure out who's going to have that until May 1st anyway.
I think we wanted to have Kevin Lally meet with you too, but he's on vacation. Is anybody? I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So in 2 weeks, we'll be meeting with him. And thank you to Jeremy for getting us that information as well. And again, right now it's just more informational stuff until we can get everything overlapped come May 1st.
I don't know how it all works, but you would think the 911 center, when we're all done, would be able to key that and turn that on. I mean.
Well,
doesn't work that way.
I don't know what technology has available for that too.
To me, that would be the way it should work, I would think.
It would be kind of cool if they could just push one button for each community and.
Yeah. We'll look into it. We'll see what we can come up with.
Thank
Kevin
you.
will be good on that, and we'll see what we sort it out.
Maybe in time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Everybody got any changes or corrections to the minutes of the February 13th meeting? If not, we're going to let them stand as presented. We'll start with the reports of committees. We'll go to Mike Zeman, claims.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met twice as usual. February 19th, we went through 41 claims. We forwarded all 41 to the county board. March 5th, we went through 60 claims and forwarded all 60 to the county board for ratification. We have hiccups here and there, but we're working on them through Paul and other people. I think we're doing okay. And that's my report.
I like the process. You guys scrutinize them pretty good and makes our other meetings go a lot
Yeah,
smoother, you know,
better than the old way.
sitting talking about a $7 screwdriver. So, any questions for Mike? No? All right. Mr. Krogstad, County Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Services met March 11th, Tuesday. And all of the department reports are in your onboard packet. It'll be available to the public here a couple weeks. One of the things I wanted to point out is during our meeting, we had a couple of public attendees. There was a husband and wife couple that came to express their opposition to a particular solar thing that was coming up. I think it's Mount Hill Solar, and they wanted to say that they had a meeting at their townships, and they all voted it down, and they thought that that was enough for that. And I let them speak their piece, and then I wanted to explain to them that they needed to show up for the zoning board of appeals to bring their evidence and whatnot to them, but they were just unsure on what to do and how to do that. And so I didn't know if there was any way that somehow we could send some information to these townships. I mean, I'm glad these townships are getting together and bringing their constituents together and having a meeting of what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But I think it would be helpful if these townships could educate also their constituents on the process that's involved, you know, that, hey, we need to all show up at these zoning board of appeals and to express their dissent or, you know, their approval of it, if that's the case as well. And I think it would just make it a little more simpler that, you know, you just can't have a no vote at a township meeting and whatnot. So I think it would be nice if somehow we could get together something and maybe also tell them that, you know, the state of Illinois has made it very difficult for us to say no to some of these solars when they require A, B, and C to be done. And then granted, you get a solar. And, you know, I think it's very difficult for when the legislators, you know, tie our hands when it comes to certain things. And I think the public also needs to know that, because there's also a couple bills coming out of Illinois that are really crazy that I think it would be nice if we put together an opposition to those bills that are coming up too as well. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Anybody got any questions for Jack? Yes.
Not a question, but Jack, just comment. Alice, help me, a year ago was an article, the reporters came and got with Alice and did an extensive report in the Telegraph to try and help people understand that it doesn't do me good to just come here. They need to come to the zoning hearings and stuff. And maybe we need to do that again, but they did an excellent job with that.
Yeah. If we could get that again out there.
Yes, and I did attend the township meeting on Monday night, and the township did disclose that the county's public hearing would occur
Okay,
on April
great.
3rd. They did encourage everyone to attend that meeting as well. Palmyra Township is one of the most organized townships that we work with. They are also looking into contacting state reps and taking their issue in that direction as well.
Awesome. I did not know that. I appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any more comments? Thanks, Jack. We'll go to Public Safety and Court Services, Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met the 11th last Tuesday also. Department heads are on file. We had an update on the current unpaid fines and collections by the state's attorney. And the information that was just shared with us was also brought to Public Safety, and we're jointly trying to get some things straightened out. I decided, unless there's an objection to it, that I'd try to approach some of the members of the fire department down there, see what direction it's going there to internally. So as soon as I can catch the chief when he's not in Florida. That's all I have.
All right, any comments or questions? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'll go to Mr. Wilson, Facilities and Maintenance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met Tuesday, 3:00. Basically, we're just going over what Eric and his team have been doing, but for the most part, it's the new HR person is starting second week in April, and I encourage everybody to go back behind here and next to Jeremy's office. The crew put up 2 walls to make our temporary HR person's office so they can be next to one another for a 6-month period. But we just went over a lot of things that Eric's been working on and some of the budget stuff, but all that stuff's on board. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yeah, yeah.
We got,
Well, the one other thing, I didn't mean to, I forgot, thank you. And we've been telling those guys that, but we're also getting started on the 4th floor carpeting project next door for Judge Ackert. So that's getting started. They're insulating the courtrooms above the ceilings, and the carpeting will get started here shortly. And we should be done hopefully by middle part of May. New painted hallways, new flooring in the entire 4th floor, and getting everything buttoned up for Judge Ackert for, is it the 150th anniversary? She's got something coming up. What has she got coming up? She's gonna invite the Illinois Supreme Court.
Yeah, I think it's the anniversary of the drug court program.
Yeah, the drug court program, yeah. And I think she wanted to have that in June or July, right?
Correct, I believe so.
Okay. But we're gonna try to get everything done prior to that. But that's basically what the guys have been working on. And we didn't have any snow this winter to speak of for the guys to plow much, so. That's it. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
now would be a good time to talk about the wall.
Okay, so above and beyond what we've been working on, we had this wall fall over probably what, 2.5 months ago? It was in December, we had this wall section from basically the corner down to not quite this, well, up to the first staircase, and that was a part of the wall that was not redone. I have no idea how many years ago the other wall was redone, but it fell over. They've got videotape of the wall just falling over. So we have liability there. So we have to have someone come in and do engineering for us. So they're going to do a topo map of this entire property. And then we need to design a wall that'll go from this corner and up a little bit this way, all the way around to 150 feet up from the corner down there. The walls that we put in however many years ago, they're failing. So they're pushing over. So basically we have somebody come in and design and give us a structural foundation, just a drawing of what we're gonna do and what we're proposing. And we're talking about doing stair step walls so the walls aren't as tall. And then we can do some really cool landscaping. So when you come into Dixon, the courthouse on Galena and on 2nd Street really looks amazing. It's going to be very costly, but the engineering estimate that we received was $68,000 to have them come in and do the topo and do the design work because we may have to redo a stair in that, but we don't know that yet. So we need to get moving. If we don't act on this, and I don't know where the money's going to come from, if we don't act on this, it's going to be all summer long. We're going to have temporary barricades on state property, on their sidewalks or city property or whatever. But we need to tidy up this property. And I think once we get the engineered drawings and we get some estimates in, we'll know where we're going to stand. But the engineered estimate for this is going to be pretty high. So very high. But after we figure out that, our administrator is going to go and talk with the city and the state and figure out if there's any cooperation with the city and the state. The state is doing a project from 2nd Street to 7th Street, putting in handicap entrances and stuff and new sidewalks. If we don't start getting estimates and what have you, those projects go very fast. They've got traffic control figured for the state project that we were going to try to kind of jump on them. So we'd already have traffic control figured in this, but at this point, I think it's way too late in the game for us. We're probably gonna have to take care of that ourselves. And I don't know how much we're gonna have lane closures when we're doing this work. But we need to spend the money to get the engineering done, because last time we didn't have it done, and we want to make sure that we're doing this correctly and as economical as we can do it.
Well, we need a hydrology study or something like that to let the water, because the water's pushing the wall. And it's been there for 100 years, but we want to fix it right this time. So
Yeah, the state took quite a bit of property away when they did the turn lane down here in Galena. So they moved it back quite a bit. Really shouldn't have made a difference, but it really increased the height of the wall. If you go around the corner, that wall's probably what, Jeremy, is it 5 foot tall, you think? Whereas it used to come down quite a bit, and it's not, we're trying to get the walls down to where they're at sitting height. The lower wall would be at sitting height. Then we would step back flat and have another wall behind that. That way we're eating up all the big chunks of real estate and it's flat in there, because then we can put the proper water drainage behind the second wall. So the water's not getting in between the two walls and to the front. And then it would all go down into the state storm sewer, or the city storm sewer. But we just need to get the engineering done, and that's going to take a little time. So I would like to get that pushed through as fast as possible, because the longer we wait, we're just pushing it up, we're pushing it off. So
we didn't have it on today's agenda for finance, of course, but what's the path forward you see with this, or how do you want to handle it as finance chair?
Well,
I'm like putting you on the spot.
as far as, and I don't know what the legality of that would be. Tom briefly talked about in your office about having an emergency, basically appropriation, because needs to be done. If you have this engineering work that needs to be done, then we have to have the conversation with the city and all that. So that's going to take some time.
Right.
I would say that we would go ahead and move this at county board next week out of capital, and then at least have the engineering part of that out. We're going to have a conversation as far as how your other projects how that's going to affect the capital project or the capital fund. We'll figure it out, Tom. It's a matter of process right now.
So you want to put this on the full county board agenda for next Thursday?
Yeah, I'd say that's
so,
what.
so
we
Jim,
do.
with that being said, that, I think what I'd like to do is get the engineering done and then put it out for bid. And then we know, that doesn't cost us anything to put it out for bid, but then we know what we're dealing with as a number, once it's all said and done. Then I think Jeremy would go to the city and the state and say, this is what our estimates are, this is our engineering. Is there any participation between the two entities?
Now, let me make sure that I'm clear. You're wanting to put the engineering out for bid immediately?
No. He wants to
No.
do
Engineering or the project?
The project, as soon as the engineering's done, I'd like to put it out for bid, get the bids in, accept a person, but not award the job, but say, this is the dollar amount we're gonna have to figure out.
Mhm.
And then then let Jeremy go to the city and the state and say, look, this is if we don't have all our ducks in a row, it's just gonna be a 2-year thing, and we don't have time. Because when the walls start falling over down here, if they fall over, I mean, it's just not a good thing. So the quicker we can get it started, I think and be on top of it, I think the more information Jeremy has, the quicker response we're gonna get from state and city.
Well, the first step is get the engineering
Yeah.
done and paid for. So
Let's
we-
put that on the agenda, and maybe Reed and Paul can get some kind of presentation that show us where the money's coming from at the meeting next Thursday.
Okay,
Right.
thanks.
No problem.
It's a horrible thing, but it's something, we just
I don't
need to
think
make
it-
sure this board covers our rear end with the proper engineering and the proper steps, so it can get done.
All right, we'll make sure we get that on there.
Oh, quick, another thing to think about along this, within this project is IDOT is doing all their sidewalk repairs and work this summer, or at least that's their intention. So the quicker we could move on this, IDOT, I think, would like us to potentially coincide with that work as everything's being torn up anyway. So that would be the desire. And we just learned that over the last couple of days.
All right, we'll start the discussion with them right away. So, all right. Any more questions or comments for Tom? Thanks, Tom. Finance Committee, Mr. Sheeline.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I always enjoy the surprises. Part of life, isn't it? Not blaming you, Tom. I mean, it is what it is. When those maintenance things, emergencies happen, we just got to figure it out. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee met this morning. We had our quarterly report, basically, finances for the county and everything is on board for you guys to take a look at. We're on track. We did track down, I shouldn't say we, Reed and Paul tracked down one of the issues in regards to the local use tax, where we had some money that from our perspective disappeared, and we're asking Springfield, where did it come from? Reed and Paul can go into the detail of what, but it kind of coincides with that real easy to understand piece of paper that we took a look at last month in regards to where does local use tax fit in with sales tax, and how does the money get all split up? And the answer that the guys got basically was that this was a readjustment from a miscalculation that we had been, and when I say we, municipalities and counties had been misappropriated money for a number of months, and so this was to get us back to square one. That's the essence of it. There's still some questions that we have in regards to the personal property replacement tax, because we've seen that reduced by 67%. So so there's still questions in regards to where this sharing of state money and sales tax, and making sure that Lee County gets the dollars that we're supposed to get. So continuing to work with that. Other than that, as far as the quarterly report goes, all the other revenue items are tracking about as expected, and expenses are as expected as well. So everything's fine there. We had long discussion in regards to, we have coming up, which seems like we just did this, the electrical aggregation. We did have Mike Munge available and we have him available if we desire to answer any questions in regards. But there's, in your resource folder, there is a history of the electrical aggregation, and also where we're at, what Mike has put together as far as the bids goes for the future. So that part of the discussion, I'm going to let the chairman lead. But we did not have a recommendation that came out of Finance Committee. Thought that we'd have the discussion here in that full board. But it was more of an informational item for my committee. Then we had just a request for funding for the opioid funding, so that will be kicked up, asked to be kicked up to full board. And then we had this did not get on my agenda for finance, but there is a request from across the street. And if I don't get it right, Charlie, please jump in. But they need a fingerprint machine. And this has to do, once again, with the Safety Act. The state passes these laws, and they don't really think about the downstream effect of how it comes in. But the essence of it, because of the Safety Act, and we don't have people being processed into the jail that are coming for their preliminary hearings that normally in the past would have been processed, gone to jail, gotten their preliminary hearing. Now you have people that are coming off the street that had not been processed, had not been fingerprinted, and sometimes they get, and if they're asked to be processed, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. What they're asking for, what the Judge Ackert is asking for is a machine so that when these people come in for their preliminary hearing off the street, that they get fingerprinted right then and there. And so it's a cost of about $14,500 to the county. There's going to be a $2,500 maintenance cost to this fingerprinting machine. The advantages of it is it gets people into the system and they'll be tracked rather than where right now it's kind of the Wild West. So this was not on the finance agenda. They would like to get the machine ordered and get it installed as quickly as possible. So the consensus out of the finance committee was for us to handle this and move it to the full board and have the request. And the money coming out of this will be tracked out of ARPA and be attributed to the ARPA dollars that we transferred to capital. So that is my report, Mr. Chairman. Anything?
I just had a
Questions or
question.
whatever.
You know, I love user fees. Can we charge for this fingerprinting to cover the?
Well, you know, we did talk about that at the end of the meeting, and Clay kind of went,
Well,
maybe that's something to
Just-
think
just
about.
Cover the
on-
$2,500 maintenance fee.
Right.
Since you wasn't arrested, we're gonna, charge you a fee to have your fingerprint,
Oh,
done.
oh, yeah, I don't know if I like that then, yeah.
So is this?
Courthouse.
The county jail already has one, but when the court orders that individual to get fingerprinted, they may just throw it away and not get fingerprinted. And then there's no, did he get fingerprinted or did not? There's no communication that he did do that. So
Have that ability at the county jail and it's not being used properly, can they use this machine if they needed it?
we're using it, or not we, sorry, they are using it every
Well,
time someone
I'm
gets
just
arrested.
saying, I was just saying if it's a new technology and something, if could the sheriff's department use this thing in the courthouse as well? All I'm asking.
Charlie, that's more a question for you than for me.
Yeah, so the machine that's already down at the jail, they're using it consistently because anybody that's picked up on a detainable offense that we have actually booked into the jail has to be processed through that one. They couldn't just bring them up to the courthouse and do it.
Okay.
And this thing isn't like a laptop, Tom, it's not something that would be real portable.
Okay.
So it's a cabinet. I had if you look at the bid, I think the bid is in that email, and it's just not something you throw in your backpack and walk down the street with.
What's nice too is after you submit the fingerprints, the guy's name that they give you could be Jim Shoe, and it's really not Jim Shoe. It's, Jack Shoe and a different date of birth and, whatever. So they can usually know like right away that this is just an alias type of a deal. So it's pretty quick results.
What, is it a check-in, check-out thing? I go over there for a court date. I punch in. On my way out, do I punch out so I'm tracked in and out? And what about the casual people? Like, I've been over there to drop stuff off for the health department. I got to go through the cage and all that. Do I have to fingerprint?
No,
Or is it only court?
These would be somebody that had committed a
Okay,
crime and they
gotcha.
just didn't
Okay.
go through the arrest process.
Just a
Yeah,
recognition.
Charlie, why don't you talk about how the machine, where it's going to be housed and how it's going to be used?
So I don't know exactly where it's gonna be housed. I would assume it's probably in the chief bailiff's area or maybe around there. So the way that this works with Pretrial Fairness Safety Act is whenever somebody's picked up on an offense now, if you have like a retail theft, even if you take 2 large TVs, whatever it may be, you're just cited and released. They don't get brought back to a station to be processed or anything. They're required to just cite and release from there. So what we have now, which is just silly, but what we have now is everybody that's having that happen, they're not being processed. So we don't know, if it's even the right person that's being, booked in at that point or being charged at that point, except for if they have an ID on them, we're able to actually identify them because of prior police contact and they know who they are. It's just going based off the information they receive. They run it through dispatch. It seems to be the person they're looking at. They look at a Secretary of State image from there. So now, in order to keep accurate records, either internally or externally through the LEADS program, where you're able to keep track of certain people that are arrested, criminal history that goes along with that. That's where the processing comes in at, to make sure that we have accurate records and not misinformation.
So we'll put that on the agenda later here for Thursday. Good. Any other questions or comments? All right. We'll move on. There's a sheriff's report, monthly sheriff's report. That's for information only. Number 7, administrator monthly report. Jeremy, you got anything you want to share?
Outside of what's on the agenda, just to comment that our new HR hire, our human resources professional, will be starting on the 31st. Susan Gillespie, she has came in yesterday and met all the department heads at our Lee County Department Head meeting. We are very excited to bring her on board, and she's going to be a phenomenal asset. So, thanks.
All right. Questions or comments for Jeremy? Thanks, Jeremy. We'll go. I got no unfinished business and our new business. We got zoning department restructure. We're talking, Jeremy, you want to take this?
Yeah. So, traditionally, the zoning department has, the structure of that has been a zoning administrator or deputy zoning administrator. Recently, we brought in a contracted employee to help with some outside work and inspections. Our deputy zoning administrator that we did have had resigned and took a position down in New Mexico. And through that process, we had the opportunity to look internally at what the structure is and needs of the operation currently are. And with the growing work scope that the zoning department is taking on, we thought it might be prudent for us to look at a restructure. Well, instead of doing a deputy zoning administrator, move that position into a building administrator or building official, where the zoning administrator could take on the current aspects of zoning administration, ZBA or zoning hearing, land management, floodplain management, those types of things, where the building official would take on the building permitting process from start to finish, inspections, and everything in between, while working within the department with the zoning administrator. So from a budgetary perspective, we believe that within our current zoning budget, we would be okay for this year. It might be an extra $10,000 in cost over time. But we believe that this is in the best interest of the county and the services we provide for the future as we're growing.
With the grant we are awarded, I don't know if we're going to receive the money. I don't know. What's the word on that? Anything?
Yeah, no. So, also in lieu of this, the state of Illinois, and Alice could speak on this a little bit further if necessary, but the state of Illinois is essentially forcing the hand of counties and municipalities to make sure that they have building codes in place by the end of the year. We are working through that process, but also we applied for a BRIC grant to establish our building codes in the county, which is a 3-year program. Which we are awarded, which is a FEMA program passed through to the state of Illinois. We haven't heard anything recently, but there had been some emails that have gone out that FEMA funding has been paused right now. So we don't know what the full effect of that grant is going to be, but we do believe that it will still be approved and move forward like a lot of the other pre-allocated and approved grants.
In that grant, and I don't know if Alice, you want to do this, or Jeremy, there's technology, there's some labor. What else in that grant?
Yep. So there's a lot of labor that's built into that for the zoning administrator, for a building inspector, for my work involved with it, for Reed's work. So the staff that we currently have, there's a labor disbursement that's built into that for 3 years. There is monies that are allocated for technology, for software and programming updates. There is monies in there for public education, and that project that we're going to need to have alongside of that. So it's going to be, as we said, this is a 3-year project that we've built into this. It's not going to happen overnight, but we want to make sure that we're putting the steps in to make sure that we're able to execute properly when the time comes. Alice, do you have anything else to add to that grant?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think you got a program in that grant too that's going to help you with the tax assessor as well or something. You'll be able to is there a computer program or something that we got there? I thought there's $70,000 program or something.
Yes, we would like to get software for the zoning office. Zoning currently doesn't have any centralized software to bring all of my information together. It's all in separate Excel spreadsheets. So we need software. So that would be part of the grant.
And right now we're using Casper as an inspector, is that correct, for
Yes.
commercial?
Yes.
And we're hoping this new position, we could inspect our own commercial buildings if the person is qualified. So I think we'll have some sort of money back to cover that $10,000, I guess. We're gonna have to work on a fee structure as well, but, so what's your thoughts on this change?
I think it's a good move.
Nancy?
Personally.
Nancy?
I think the time is right. You're in a place where there's going to be restructuring anyway, and we've talked about this before, so I think it's the right time to do it.
Yeah, we weren't quite ready, but with the opening, now's the time to,
Yeah.
I think, make the move to try this and see or whatever. And we're trying to, Alice is busy every day with phone calls and stuff going on. It's gonna get busier too, so we get some projects out there.
I think the technology is there too, and some of the technology that Alice doesn't have access to that is coming available or already available will combine, I think, GIS and assessments too, as far as mapping and some of that, unless I'm incorrect. So,
Jack, what's your thoughts on it?
If it's gonna improve it, I see why not. I mean, it's gonna make it more efficient.
All right, well, I think we'll go through with that or whatever. Do we have to put that on, we don't have to put that on county board agendas because it's a rehire and it's, yep, okay. All right, we'll keep moving on then. Thank you. We'll go to new business. We just did that. We got the pro ag resolution. I think, did you craft that, Tom, or?
Yeah, I got
somebody else?
that all
Did you-
squared away for you guys.
Our Farm Bureau, I think, did that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Just giving us all more mailboxes, or what are you doing? Yeah.
Ace Hardware ran out of WD-40 for the hinges on the mailbox.
You come out and grease them all for us, all right? All right, anyhow, that comes from Farm Bureau. That's gonna be on the agenda. Any questions or comments about that? We need a, oh, it hasn't been approved. Do I get a motion to approve it? Mr. Sheeline moves and Nancy seconds it. Any discussion? All those.
Yeah, I want to talk about,
Sure.
certainly you guys know I live and breathe farming. I don't quite see the purpose of this. We have county code, talking to Lee County Agriculture. I hesitate to do this in case of other outside development. For whatever, purpose, they're gonna say, farmland, you cannot do this, but there's no bite behind this. It's just a resolution. Yes, we do support agriculture. That's a no-brainer. But I'm afraid going forward, people will, on other developments of whatever source, solar, for example, they're gonna bring this up and said, okay, you guys voted for solar, but you resolved to support agriculture. Don't know where to go from that. I guess I would kind of be against it. Because by definition, Lee County is agriculture. I don't see the purpose. It's just one more thing. Just my opinion. That's it.
Any other comments about that? I see your point. So,
Mike, is there something you'd like to take out and just get it more generic or?
no.
No, he was being facetious. Yeah, it came from Farm Bureau.
It came from Farm Bureau, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I heard the name Tom Wilson. What's he doing? I think the other Tom. No, I just wondered if what the genesis of it was it an individual or group or somebody like
Yeah.
that that didn't have the Farm Bureau, name behind it.
this didn't go through committee, I don't think. Do you want to send it back through committee next month?
No, it could probably go to a yes or no vote.
Okay.
I agree with Mike, interjecting my opinion. I'm not against it. I would rather strongly support in a more detailed manner agriculture, because we've taken a considerable number of acreages out of some prime
Out of
farm
production, yeah.
and that's not going to help agriculture over the years if we continue to face things in the fashion that we have.
And we haven't done it willy-nilly. The projects have been vetted and all that kind of
Right.
stuff, the big and small.
But the support, I'm not against. I'm for that 100%. But I do agree with you, it's vague. And
Yeah.
I'm not that great at drawing up languages for stuff like this. I'd dig us deeper than we are now, but.
Yeah. But let's say it came to a vote or didn't even make the board agenda. The lack of it is not going to change the big picture.
Right.
It's just accepting what the Farm Bureau is in support of, which I am in support of too. But this has no bite behind it.
Well, in my opinion, the bite is that Lee County is supporting up Lee County agriculture. So it tells our constituents that we love agriculture. And so I'm for this because I think that's what it is too. But I am against the state telling us about solar, telling us how to do our solar, and we should decide whether or not. So this, in a way, it's kind of like saying to our state legislators or to whoever out there that we're for agriculture and we're for solar when needed, not just because, solar companies can do A, B, and C, and then you shall put up a solar farm. So in a way, to me, I'm going to vote yes for this because I'm going to say I'm an agriculture man, or, even though I don't work on a farm, but I am for that. And I think it just tells us that we support our farmers in Lee County. And that's what it says.
Hey, gang. And again, moving this to the board, our Farm Bureau is going to come on the 20th to present this resolution, to talk about it. They could answer some questions there as well. They're also going to showcase some FFA members. So it's part of a bigger effort by the Farm Bureau in support of our agriculture and what we do here in the county.
Alice Marie.
Okay.
I have to remind you that while you may disagree with it, the state does view solar as an agricultural use. So when you bring that into the discussion, that is something that we have to remember, is that the state has already defined solar as a agricultural use. So while we support agricultural, that does include the farmers who are signing up and supporting these projects as well. So that I just want to remind you guys, because that same comment was kind of made Tuesday at a committee meeting. While it's called commercial solar energy, it is still considered an agricultural use.
Harvest in the sun, I guess. But I always wonder if in Cook County, say a solar or wind farm had the area to do it, if they'd have to approve it in Cook County. I mean, because they should live by the same rules we do. And then maybe we get something changed down in Springfield, But somebody needs to build one there and see how they like it. But yes.
So this is being done, Farm Bureau's putting this to everywhere in the 102 counties and asking for this resolution. Part of that, this is a promotion because there are some bills that are moving through the General Assembly that are viewed as, Farm Bureau views as anti-agriculture. And there's also some misconceptions in regards to who owns, because there's all this talk of China is coming in and buying up farmland, and Bill Gates is buying up, one of the largest private landowner in the world. so this resolution also is to emphasize, and if you notice, one of the lines is that in Illinois, 96% of farmland is family owned. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not corporate, because there's some farms that are large that they require a corporate structure. But they're still family farms. And so this reiterates that. And Farm Bureau's effort is trying to emphasize from a county perspective that not only do we support agriculture, but we support how it's structured, and we want to maintain that. So,
So did this go to any committee before here? 'Cause-
no, it didn't come to finance.
okay, so in the future, all resolutions
Came
need
out
to
of the
go
air.
through committee. I mean,
Came out of the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody south of town did.
Yeah, I don't,
so who put this on the agenda? Okay. Our resolutions need to go through committee in the future, and I know you know that, so, okay.
I get, well, last
And-
comment,
and
the motion now is to not to approve it, but to approve it for vote at the county board.
correct.
Okay, okay,
Just to move it on to the
just
agenda.
move it on. I got you.
Let me break it down for you, get the little chart out. All right. So this is to approve it, and then we're gonna put it on the county board, like Mike just said. Everybody understand that? We got a first, second, great discussion. Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. You wanna do a roll?
I mean,
No.
this, I guess the one thing
Yeah, we
the
did
one
that.
question I have is, so it's no different than the solar. If we don't vote it in, the state will sue us. Am I wrong in saying that? On the
No.
solar
No.
project?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
All right. Let's do a roll call vote.
They didn't understand what I was gonna say.
Bob Olson,
Yes.
Tom Kitson,
Yes.
Jack Scroxted,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Mike Zeman,
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Tom Wilson,
Here, oh, yeah, yeah.
Nancy Nance,
Yes.
Dean Freel.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. We're losing steam here. I know. Okay, now we're on C, Lee County Electric Aggregation Contract. They talked about in finance. So we want to keep this on the county board agenda. I would just assume keep it on, I got a note here to keep it on, or what we do with it, or how we put it on the county board agenda. Jim, you want to talk about your discussion this morning, and then we'll move into this.
Okay, so again, I mentioned that all the, if you go to your resource folder, there's electrical aggregation under the resource folder. And the big one you want to pay attention to, and Mike Mudge is on with us now. He put together the bids for right now that are available to us. Yep. Mike, are you listening?
Yes. I can hear
So,
you.
so our current contract goes until when?
We are let's see.
May 15th, he said?
No. Let me grab.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, it was.
The contract, I think we go till June. I usually have it right on the bid sheet. Yes.
All right, so anyhow, let's,
So the information that Mike put together for us, and he went over the little bit of what's going on as far as in the marketplace. A lot of uncertainty. There's and we're going from where we did a 1-year deal with MC Squared at, it was 7 and change.
yep, it's on the top here.
And you can see that the latest bid for energy is considerably higher.
The other way, your other down.
Basically going from 7 cents kilowatt hour up to 9 and change. So anyway, this got put on finance agenda just to talk about it and look at, a place to start the discussion. We did not have a recommendation of what to do coming out of finance. And so basically talk about it here and have a recommendation one way or the other of the direction that we want to recommend to the full board on what to do. So that's basically all I got, Bob.
So Mike's been doing this for how many years for us? 10, 15 years, Mike, or longer?
We've been doing this since 2013 is when we did our first contract, and this contract ends in August on the ComEd reading days in August.
Okay. So, but it's, you got our bids, it's 27% increase on the cheapest rate. So everybody understands what this is when we vote to move this forward. Everybody gets the option. I just have I'll just take it from the floor. I don't want to direct the narrative. Yes, Tom.
Oh, okay, Mike, you did tell us that there'll be another auction in July, correct? And the rates could change.
The rates for this year our capacity rates are already set, and capacity is what everyone pays into the grid. People operate the grid. They in turn send that capacity to all the generators that have bid into this auction. And at the bottom of that chart, it shows the 25 to 26 rates. ComEd rate's going to jump up 2.5 to 3 cents a kilowatt hour also. Every ratepayer is going to be affected by this.
But ComEd's still going to be our lower rate, correct?
We don't know that. We don't know that. What we want to do, or what we should do, is give people a price to compare to, so they can make a choice of whether to go back to ComEd or not. And that's kind of what we did last year. We just did a 1-year contract, because we're pulling the horns kind of back in a little bit. We don't know what the grid auction is going to do for the payments to the generators. That's a regulated rate. It's kind of like no one's got any choice in that. All ratepayers, including people on ComEd, are going to have to pay that. So what we were trying to do is come up with the options and let the full board decide what direction they want to take with this.
Well, okay, my concern is it looks like we're voting to give the taxpayers a higher rate and that we in turn get this grant. And I think that's totally the wrong approach for us in government to take. Sorry.
The one offer that's got a grant is we're guaranteeing that the rate's going to match ComEd's rate. And other than that, there's no grant to the county. If we choose one of the other suppliers with a firm rate, that's what we have, and that's what ComEd, or that's what the ratepayers can measure to. If we do the MC squared price guarantee option, that means everyone on the program will pay the same rate as ComEd. ComEd rate's going to fluctuate, go up or down. For me, in the next 12 months, that's just a safe place, a safe harbor. Now, what Ogle County did back in June, we were able to lock in a rate with MC squared that was underneath 9 cents, and they felt comfortable with that. This week, Tuesday, Whiteside County decided to do that price match guarantee because they didn't want to have a rate higher than ComEd. If that's what comes out, ComEd's rate will be announced in May, and then they'll also have an adjustment in October or whatever. So I'm just kind of being conservative. That price match is something that's new. Other communities that through the years that haven't been able to beat ComEd's rate have gone to this price match guarantee. So I wanted to bring it on the table to at least show that that's an option.
So Mike, just a quick question, so it's clarification, is I want to make sure, because I think it's a little bit confusing because we're looking at that 6.612 cents per kilowatt hour, which is the current ComEd rate. That, now, my understanding is that is not going to be the rate that we're coming from, nor is the rate that's going to be available to us. It's going to be that rate plus another 2.5 to 3 cents on top of that coming in June.
Right, that's what the firm costs are gonna be passed on, and they're gonna be in the 9 to 10 cent range, someplace in that area. Now, our current contract that ends in August, we're gonna have 2 months still at the 7.45 cent rate. We will gain some of that money back that we, that we've been behind on for the last 6 months. But we don't have enough time to wait till the new ComEd rate's out because we got to do opt-out letters and so on and so forth. So I hope that answers your question. There's just a lot of information to absorb, and a lot of dynamics going on out there.
So I guess when I'm looking at this, Tom, your comment that we're locking in a higher rate for our residents, that may not be true at all, because if ComEd's rate ends up being above 10 cents, then we're actually could be saving our folks by locking in, going with MC squared, or, it really, it's the uncertainty of where ComEd actually ends up in June.
Nancy.
Bob, would you share what you shared at finance about your opinion about waiting?
Yeah, I think the volatility in the electric market right now is crazy, and maybe it's going to go up. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. But right now we're locking in them at a 27% increase. We had a lot of pushback last year, if you remember what we did, and so that's just going to be worse. And and I appreciate the offer, Mike, on this $10,000 grant or $20,000 grant if it comes back. But I don't think Lee County government should make money on a 27% increase going out to our residents. So that I feel not very comfortable about. My opinion, I think right now we just let the residents of Lee County choose their electric till this thing settles down and we can get a good bid that we can move forward with. This is designed so we can purchase power together to purchase power for our residents and get them a deal on it. I don't know if there's a deal right there, and I know it's somewhere under a time constraint, but I don't like to be pushed into anything to just get a deal. And you're right, it's probably might be higher later, but I think it's pretty volatile right now. And whenever I'm in a volatile market, I let it calm down before we make any long-term decisions.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Thank you.
I agree.
So so basically to do that, we would do nothing. We would just let the contract expire and then it automatically goes back to
ComEd, the way I understand. Is that correct, Mike?
Is that right, Mike?
By law, the current supplier, when that contract ends in August, if we don't have anything to replace that, we will then, they're required to drop everyone, put everyone back to ComEd that's in the program at that time. Any customers that have chosen a supplier on their own, that it does not affect them. So yes, they will be going back. We can, at that time, if we know the ComEd rate and we go out and test the market, we can go and start a new contract 2-3 months down the road. Bring the bids back and say, here's where ComEd's at and here's what we can get.
That's what
So
Yes, Mr. Wilson.
So do we vote on this, make a motion on this?
I need a motion to what you guys are thinking.
I'd like to make a motion that we let it go back to ComEd current, just for now, for the next 2 or 3 months, see where the prices with ComEd are at that time, and then talk to Mr. Mudge after that. But I make the motion that we currently let this contract run out and go at the market for the next couple months.
Mr. Friel.
I'll second that. I agree with that 100%.
I do too.
All right, got a first and a second, and we'll monitor the market. We'll be talking to Mr. Mudge and we'll see how things transpire. Yes. Yeah, we're making the motion to go to the full board for a vote, just so everybody understands.
Right.
After we vote on this resolution, could I make a quick comment? I don't want it to go under this resolution.
Okay, yep, absolutely. Any more comment, discussion? All those in favor of Tom's motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Yes, Mike.
Yeah, kind of a dumb question, I think, but down in Paw I'm under MC squared. And on claims committee, it's all Dynegy. Is the city of Dixon under Dynegy, but not?
No, we purchase power for the county.
For the county?
Oh. Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
But the claim is not for MC squared, it's for Dynegy.
Well, you have to pay that third-party bill.
Isn't that what MC
Is that what
squared
I'm-
is?
But this vote is for the power you get and I
Right,
get in our
yeah, yeah.
homes.
Right.
That's
This
what
is
we're-
off subject a little bit.
I think usually maintenance does that, and we need to talk about that, Tom,
Yeah,
after the meeting.
I
But
wondered why.
we
they
used
were
to,
Dynegy
we used to go out for bids on the
you and I
power
are
for the
MC
county.
squared.
Yep.
Our facilities,
you in
our
Dixon?
buildings, county buildings have a
Come on.
contract under Dynegy.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your answer.
That's correct. That's a separate contract on electrical aggregation. You have to be, for commercial to be on it, 15,000 annual kilowatt hours or less. But the county rate that we have with Dynegy, the contract is a lot less than that because the facilities have a lot higher, a lot better load factor. So it's, so you got two different programs, two different agreements.
Okay, thanks, Mike. And Mike. All right, let's move on because we got some more to do here yet, but, Mr. Mudge, I'll have, Jeremy will get in touch with you and we'll get a path forward and we'll keep monitoring the situation. And if we can get a deal for the residents of Lee County, we'll work on it. Okay?
Thank you very much for your time and
Thank you.
questions.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. I got some resolutions here, a resolution to appoint Craig Burrow back to the Lee County zoning CBA. Mr. Wilson moves, Mr. Friel seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I've got another resolution for reappointment of Norris Tucker as Commissioner to the Lee County Housing Authority. Mr. Kitson moves, Mr. Copine seconds it. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I've got no raffle reports this month. And you can review the per diem report for the county board from January meetings for March payout. I'm gonna go to executive session. I'd like to go into executive session if we could today for 20 minutes. I need a motion. Mr. Wilson moves, Mr. Kitson seconds it. Roll call vote. Yes.
Bob Olson,
Yes.
Tom Kitson,
Yes.
Jack Scrogstead,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Mike Zeman.
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Tom Wilson,
Yes.
Nancy Naylor,
Yes.
Dean Friel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Probably take it.
Becky, are you okay? Okay, what's that? What, yeah, okay, whatever.
That's job security.
Yeah, that is just, yeah, no doubt. Please do.
So when Nancy gets here, we'll run, I guess we could, let's wait for her to get here. We got a motion and a second on the table. We need to vote. Yeah. And vote in executive session.
Well, we need to vote to come out.
Mr.
Okay.
Zeman took, we can never vote in executive session. No.
No,
Charlie,
Charlie's already
can you
listening.
stop this spat? We have to make,
we need to vote to come out.
We motion, but
and then we gotta vote on it in front of everybody. Is this your first meeting?
you act like you've never done this before.
I gotta do roll call though.
Yes. And yes,
Bob Olson,
yes.
Tom Kitson. Yes. Jack Scrogsted,
Yes.
Mike Copine,
Yes.
Mike Zeman.
Yes.
Jim Sheeline,
He left, he
Okay.
left the building.
Tom Wilson,
Yes.
Nancy Naylor.
Yes.
Dean Frail.
Yes.
Okay, we're done with that part of our meeting. Now we'll go over to set the agenda for March 20th. County Board full agenda. And we do the normal, we'll go down to A through F. That's the normal stuff. G, we got Joseph Meyer resolutions. We have none. We have zoning. We have two petitions in zoning. I don't really need to read them, do I? I think we can see them here. You what? Okay, we got 1A and 1B. And then 2, we have no petitions going to the planning commission. 3, petitions coming from the ZBA appeals. We have 1A. So 4, we have 1 petition coming from the planning commission. We'll definitely have our administrator monthly update and board member comments, public comments. I see we have 2 under county organizations. Are we good with that, Jeremy? Are they limited to 10 minutes apiece?
Yes,
Do they know that?
yes.
All right,
Cute.
we're gonna have flashcards.
No, we're not.
You're the.
We're gonna have Nancy walking around holding it up. Like, yeah.
No, you're not.
The stop card. in front of me.
Yeah.
All right, we got Lucas Polly, of course, and is somebody talking to me? Arnold Vetcher? I don't know. So we got reports of committee as normal, unfinished business. So that's held over. Under
God
new
bless you.
business,
God bless you.
under new business, we got the certificate of authority for the salt purchase, county engineer's salary resolution, revisions to ZBA building permit fees, the Lee County electrical aggregate contract. Now, how do we want that worded so we can vote on that?
I thought my motion was pretty darn good.
It's probably one of the better ones we've had,
Okay,
all right?
I would just, I mean, we can make that motion again, can't we?
Okay, so yes, so we'll have that there and we'll, yep. We have the opioid funding, which they talked about in finance. Jeremy, you want to, we didn't talk about that here, but, okay. Pro ag resolution that Farm Bureau crafted. So we had 2 other ones we wanted to add to that. Becky, what was it? What was it?
Fingerprint scanner.
Yep,
And retaining wall engineering study funding.
yep, the funding for the engineering study.
Is that how you want it worded,
Mr. Wilson?
Mr.
I
Wilson?
would say it's, it would be for, contract engineering for retaining wall for the court's property.
Okay. And that's everything, nothing else come out of finance, you finance guys? I guess we don't. Nothing out of finance, Nancy, that today?
Oh, yeah, that
Just-
was everything other than the quarterly treasurer's report.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there a quarterly judgment report? I didn't see that in this.
It's later in the
It-
agenda.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
It's under
Sorry.
Q.
All right, yep,
Question.
yes.
So this
bid for, or it's not a bid, engineers or whatever, do you have to put something in there that this is an emergency situation, so you're not sending it out for bids?
Yes, but that specifically, we don't need to bid that out, right? If it's a engineering, but we could put emergency in there because it is, yeah. Good point, Dean. Okay. Where are we at? We got the pro ag resolution, so then we got the reappointments that we did today that we voted to move that forward. We got both of them, Craig Burrow, Norris Tucker, executive session, approval of county officers' reports, treasurer, quarterly treasurer's report, the roll call monthly revenue claims paid and vacation, approval of board minutes and mileage, adjournment. Do I need to get a motion to approve this? Nancy, you want to move? Do I have a second to approve this agenda? Mr. Wilson? Any
Okay,
discussion?
Hold on one second. Is there anything coming out of executive session that needs to go on the agenda?
Oh, good point. No, that's a
No?
personnel issue. No.
Okay,
Nope.
all right.
Good
So
point,
Nancy
though.
was the first, who was the second?
Yep.
Me and Tom Wilson.
Got a first and a second. All those in favor of this proposed agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion to adjourn. Got Mr. Wilson and Mr. Kitson, Tom and Tom. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.